I think I have the idea for D11 and admins of community servers on how to spot someone that is Zen. On my TikTok, CNQR Toxic, last night I uploaded my opinion. Obviously, there was some good, some bad, considering TikTok is full of cheaters. They probably didn't like what they were seeing. Could this idea work? Well, I'm going to explain it to you more in depth right now. So as I've said countless times in my videos prior to this one, cheating on Rust Console is the biggest problem this game's had to deal with. It's the biggest problem that pretty much most shooter games in particular, as well as survival games, have had to deal with in recent times. And this idea that I've got that we could spot who's Zen isn't new. This is something that I believe PC do.
What are you talking about?
Your AK. Well, you're purposely moving your mouse around to fake the AK spray there.
I'm not faking nothing. Like what? You're laughing, and it's
so the known things that we know that admins can look at when they're looking for a cheater is that they can spectate in first and third person. Now, for one, there's people that are going to be clueless as to what Zim and Zen looks like, so third and first person really does not do much on the eye to those people that are oblivious to it. However, those who know what they're looking for do stand a better chance of, you know, third and first person of seeing who is a cheater and who isn't. I still don't think that's good enough on D11's part to let someone know who they should be booting from their server and who they should be keeping. So off the cuff, whilst in the LE group chat last night, I came up with an idea that's not new, but it's something that I believe we should actually have a little conversation about as to why and how we can stop specifically Zen players. I don't know if this would count for Zen players because you have to look at more of the movement, as they still have recoil, because if they're not using Zen, then they have to use their mouse. Now for PC, there's a multitude of ways for people to find out if you're scripting or not. One of the ones is Task Manager, looking at all your programs that are up and running, because if you're using a script, it's going to be up and running in your Task Manager in the background. So that is a good way for admins to dictate whether you are cheating and should be banned from their server or not. And as well, another one is that they have the weapon spray at either the top left or top right of their screen, and then I'm pretty sure the player's spray is then right next to it, directly next to it, so that you can see their spray compared to the weapon spray. This is something I think if D11 can pull off, if they ever will try and pull this off, could help people who are in the dark of cheating and want a legit server, if they can't just, you know, get people in to do the admin work surrounding cheaters in their server. I think this is a great way for D11, if they can pull this off, for admins to have more help, more guidance on how to have a more legit server. So obviously you have the HUD within Rust Console when you're looking at the map. This will kind of be the same, apply in the same manner as to what this is going to be like. So top left or top right of your screen, whilst just spectating someone in first or third person, you can choose to have the weapon spray that they're using at this current time. So let's say there's a Brad fight and you've had this mass reported player that is using, let's say for argument's sake, is using Zen. So you're spectating them in first person, they're at Brad having a fight, and you have the weapon spray, the AK-47 weapon spray to be specific, on your screen. And let's say the weapon spray is yellow, so you have the backwards S weapon spray for the AK-47, and the blue dotted spray will be the player that you're watching, and that will be directly next to it, so you can see the player spray opposed to the actual weapon spray to see how consistent this is. And you can't just do this over one single mag if they shoot a mag or a couple of rounds from the gun in a fight. You simply can't do that. You're gonna have to look at this player in depth as to one, how consistent is the spray over long range, mid range and short range. Playing this game since obviously beta, which I keep on crying on about, your spray cannot be the exact same from short range, mid range and long range. You're gonna have different sprays either way. So let's say they have 5 fights, 2 fights within mid range, 1 fight long range and 2 fights within short range. If their spray is pretty much consistent, if they're just standing still and strafing like the AK script for Zen has, it's going to be on the money as to how it compares to the weapon spray that will be obviously on the right or left next to the player's spray. People say, yeah, but you can change the values. You can change the values. That is truth. If you, let's say, play on 7070, which is the well-known Zen settings for X and Y, and 4040 for 1x and ADS, and change your dead zones to, let's say, 3, you're going to have a little, just a little bit of a kick. It's basically going to do the backwards S, but in such a short, pretty much recall way, but you still have to somewhat control it. And of course you can change those values. You're going to come across Zen players like that, but it's better than them not using the script to its full potential of having no recall. At least they still got to do a little bit of the work. So, you know, they probably will lose more fights that way. Reason why I say this while spectating someone is because if you just pull them aside without doing this, they're just going to outplug their Zen. And, you know, if you're spectating them first person, seeing all this with the weapon spray and the player spray, you pull them aside and like, we've seen this, we just want to make sure you're legit. If their spray is completely different to that, there's something sus. You could put them back in the server and just keep an eye on them, and if it goes back to them having a dot spray, you can take further action in that way. I just think this would be a good idea for people, because there's going to be loads of people that are admins of servers that don't have a clue as to how to sort this out if they want a legit server. But then again, you're going to have players that are going to be on these devices as admins as well. So it's whatever way you want to look at it. But I do believe there needs to be more in terms of UI when it comes to trying to ban cheaters. And I think this is the idea that could be that very thing. Considering we can't detect it, you can't detect Zim or Zen. But if you have the weapon spray and the player spray and see how consistent that is over a variety of ranges, and if it's not the same when you pull them aside to just have a spray check, then well, you know, you can make your mind up that way. What do you guys think? Do you think this is an idea that D11 should take forward? If so, reaching out to them via the Discord or anything of that nature would be greatly appreciated, as this is something that I believe could work. Follow my socials in the description. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you in the next one.